So I'm here at the Business Analysis Conference Europe 2022, and I've managed to track down a speaker who was speaking on a really interesting and thought-provoking topic about lean and agile, but from a very different perspective about how it might apply, turning it inwards into looking at how we can improve business analysis. So I'm really pleased to say I have Victoria Banner here, who's a Principal BA at Aldermore Bank. So Victoria, thanks very much for being here today.
You're welcome.
So in your talk, you talked about lean and agile and approaches, how we can almost turn them inwards, put a mirror against what we do as BAs. I mean, can you give some examples of how we might use stuff from those worlds to improve our craft as BAs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, during the session we focus on the waste aspects that that lean brings into sort of the thought process, and really it's about seeing if actually post-pandemic, are we doing things now that we probably don't need to do anymore, or any practices that, you know, actually we are wasteful, essentially. So a lot of the session is about that, and about, you know, in terms of when you're working in an agile world, things like waste around, you know, the stock levels of stories that we're holding, the flow of the work, those kind of things. That's what we explore during the session. That's
really interesting. So if you've got a huge unwieldy backlog, that's a form of inventory, I suppose, isn't it? If I'm thinking of like the traditional Tim Wood or type you know, lean, that's an interesting perspective. So, and I'm also now thinking of like gold plating. We tend to be quite good at gold plating as BAs.
Absolutely. So. Gold plating, knowledge hoarding, you know, over engineering what we're doing as analysts. Actually, the concept of just-in-time analysis and just enough to deliver the value that you need to deliver is quite complementary working as a BA in an agile world.
Yeah, I'm starting to think of myself now, that zooming in on Visio to make sure all of the lines are straight, which we probably all do it, right?
We all do it.
But yeah, you mentioned post-pandemic. So would you say that the pandemic's inspired different ways of working that could actually stick and be more efficient and effective?
There is, yeah. I think, you know, the days of getting up at 5:30 to go and run a workshop may be less prevalent than they used to be. So that movement and that transportation of people and, you know, materials, that's probably abated as much now in the post-pandemic world. Things like, you know, having to sort of context switch is probably a wasteful activity that we've introduced post-pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, most people wouldn't dream of doing their emails in a meeting face-to-face, but we all do it, you know, when we're working at home in a bedroom or a dining room.
Yeah.
I think there's gives and takes in both.
Yeah, I was speaking to a guy called Chris Lydell, an author, quite recently, and he said his definition of multitasking was doing more than one task badly.
Yeah.
So like you're just concentrating on multiple things and doing them all badly.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you chose lean and agile as, I suppose, the sort of provocation for the conversation. I mean, would you say lean and agile are separate things? Do they overlap? Should we separate them in our minds or bring them together?
No, I think I've identified sort of 5 areas where I think there's good synergies from both. Customer focus, number one in both of those kind of ways of thinking, and really valuing the output that we give to the customer. Things like collaboration and teamwork, very strong in both. Pace and flow, being able to maintain a consistent pace and kind of an indefinite sort of cadence in your delivery. So that there are lots of overlaps.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Lots of I suppose areas to reflect back on, to think about what we do. And so if you were to think of key concepts that we should take away for BAs from lean or from agile, what sort of concepts should we be thinking about?
I think looking at those waste areas, for me, it's a lovely structure to bring into a retro, for example. You know, going through those 7, 8 areas of waste, seeing if as a team we can identify things that are not adding value anymore, essentially. The concept of just-in-time analysis, I think 100% that's where we should be aiming for in our agile business analysis.
Uncomfortable to do sometimes.
Totally,
but we've got to get over it.
yeah, essentially.
Fantastic. And if you were to have like one takeaway, your one biggest takeaway that you hope people who attended your session took away, what would that be?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think Yeah, I think there's a big picture of a pavlova on one of my slides.
Oh, wow.
And I think of, you know, lean, waste and agile business analysis as your meringue, your cream and your fruit. And they go really well together.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So that's my biggest takeaway.
Oh, fantastic! Well, if a cake is a takeaway, I mean that's got to be a good sign. So, so Victoria, I'm sure people watching this video will want to, you know, find out more, connect with you. How's the best way for people to get in touch?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. If anyone wants to ping me on LinkedIn, happy to do that. But yeah, I tend to attend a lot of conferences and stuff, so feel free to check in there as well.
Fantastic! Thank you very, very much, Victoria. Really great to chat as always.
Thanks, Adrian.
Fantastic. Well, if you've enjoyed that interview, do subscribe, watch our social media feeds, because we'll be bringing you as many as we can while we're at the conference. So bye for now.